What's up with it, people? We back with another one, man. We back with another one. We 43 days away from a big fight. Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. It's cracking. So check it out, man. Hey, I wanted to do a video, man, because I had just seen Derrick James, man. He just did an interview pretty much saying exactly what I was saying the other day about, just people not really being able to see what Errol Spence do and, his style and all that. So I just wanted to show y'all the interview, man. So check this out, man. It's crazy because I posted the interview. I posted my video like 2 days ago, and this video just dropped 10 hours ago. But he pretty much said exactly what I said. So I'm going to let y'all hear my video first.
Pay attention to what's going on and understand the brilliance behind Errol Spence and how he really mastered his fundamentals, because he mastered them. And it's everybody say his style is basic, but it's crazy because his style is so complex that not even the average person can even tell what he's doing. It's crazy. And y'all think he's just a basic fighter, and it's like, nah, it's way more than that. It's way more than that. It's way more depth to Errol Spence and what he do behind his fundamentals than just being a basic fighter. And
so that was my video. So like I said, man, I posted this video 2 days ago, and then this is what Derrick James just did in an interview with Drew Titan. Shout out to Drew Titan too, man. I don't know how the internet politics work or whatever, but I'm just trying to find my lane, man. So I appreciate the interview, and shout out to you for it. But this is what Derrick James said.
Yes. Disaster. And people mimicking Floyd. So now people have been mimicking his style. They can't mimic our style, but our style is too complex. Now you say it's complex, but then other people that don't understand, they say it's very basic because they don't know what he's doing. Right.
Pretty much said exactly what I was saying, man. It's crazy. It's like, I don't know, man. But look, I wanted to pretty much just break down Errol Spence and Derrick James, just their whole approach to boxing, man. And to me, they are boxing. You know what I mean? Because they do everything from a fundamental standpoint. And when I say that, what I mean is even the way that they go about getting a knockout. When you think about it, man, the fundamental approach to getting a knockout is pretty much to break your opponent down to eventually knock them out. And that's the approach that they take on how they get their stoppages. Errol Spence is breaking you down to eventually either knock you out or a ref stoppage or, some eye, he been breaking eyes and all that. So it's just crazy because they really are the definition of the sweet science in every sense of it when you really think about it. You know what I mean? And then you look at somebody like Terrence Crawford on the other hand. His whole approach to getting a knockout is, setting up shots, setting up punches that you can't see, hiding his shots and, hitting you with something you can't see. So it's like when you mesh the two, it's like it's really the complete opposite from a stylistic standpoint and how they approach winning a fight and getting a knockout, and Derrick James now, how they go about it. And I just appreciate how they go about the fundamentals in every way of the sport. You know what I mean? All the way down to getting a knockout. And I feel like that the way that they just their whole technique or whatever is pretty much just mastering the fundamentals, where Errol Spence mastered the fundamentals from an offensive perspective. And really what it comes down to is just their technique and being in shape. Once you in shape, once you master the technique and you in shape to dish out the output to eventually break the fighter down and then stop them in the later rounds. You know what I mean? So, if they can withstand the punishment, then your style is designed to win on the cards. Somebody like Terrence Crawford's style is not really designed to win on the cards because a lot of the times you got to be patient. That's why everybody say, "Oh, Terrence Crawford is collecting data and he's trying to figure you out." Well, he's trying to figure you out so he can find that punch that's gonna knock you out. That style is not really built to win on cards, but most of the times he can win on cards because of the level of competition that he's fighting. You know what I mean? So I say all that to say, if you just look at the Mikey Garcia fight, everybody say, "Oh, Errol Spence decided to box in that fight." Errol Spence always boxes. He always boxes. Like, no matter what style he come to the ring with, he's always boxing you. But the difference is, when Errol Spence, it was the approach that he took in the Mikey Garcia fight. Usually in his fights, Errol Spence is using his jab, and he's coming forward and he's closing distance to knock you out. I mean, to get on the inside and dominate you, because he can dominate on the inside. So when you're thinking about it, from their approach to the fundamental way of getting a knockout, what's the easiest way to do that? Get on the inside and dominate where Errol Spence can dominate, and then he can start breaking you down and knocking you out. So the only difference between the style of Errol Spence was, in the Mikey Garcia fight, he didn't decide to take a step forward. You know what I mean? He just didn't. He decided to fight that fight right in mid-range. If you think about it, Errol Spence's best weapon that he got is his jab. And the reason why is because he's using his jab to either usually to close the distance, to walk forward and get on the inside of you and dominate you. But in that fight, when you at mid-range, the punch that's open the most is the jab. So he threw damn near 100 jabs in that fight against Mikey Garcia, and was using his feet to step in and step out of range, because that's the approach that he was taking on the fight. But his style never changed. The only difference was he wasn't coming forward. So as you coming forward, your jab is no longer available as the gap in the distance closes. You know what I mean? Once the distance closes, the jab is no longer available. So once you widen that gap and you stay right there, the jab is always there. So it looked like he won the fight off of the jab, and it looked like it was different than what he normally do. But he's punching with the punch that's fundamentally the best option in whatever situation he's in. That's why he is the sweet science. When he's coming forward, like I said, the gap closes. So you can't throw a jab when you right there. But the approach that he was taking in all them other fights was to basically fundamentally get a knockout, which is use his jab, close the distance, walk in on you, get in the inside, dominate you, put punishment on you, and stop you. That's his whole game. That's their whole approach. The fastest way to get to a fundamental knockout, to get to a fundamental stoppage. You know what I mean? So that's just my thoughts on it, man. And I think it's, now that I really kind of understand more the mind of Derrick James and just the approach that they take with every fight, it's, man, I really, man, listen, I think I understand exactly what they finna do in this Terrence Crawford fight. But I say all that to say, like I had said in a video before, that the style that I think can beat Errol Spence, just from a points perspective, would be somebody like a Floyd Mayweather style. Somebody that has mastered the fundamentals on defense, because Errol Spence mastered the fundamentals on offense. So it's going to take somebody that mastered the fundamentals on defense to really be able to outpoint him. You know what I mean? And I'm going to drop that video down in the comments if y'all ain't seen that, though. Y'all need to check that out. That video was fire. But that's the style that I think is going to take to actually outpoint Errol Spence. But and then another thing, I don't think that you ever gonna see Errol Spence at 147 pounds fighting like he fought Mikey Garcia, because he's so dominant on the inside. Once he get on the inside of you, he can just dominate the fight and break you down and stop you. So I don't think you're gonna see Errol Spence boxing and using footwork and doing all that and fighting a mid-range fight until he move up in weight. But that's just my opinion, but we'll see. But man, I really, now that I really kind of feel like I know the mind and just how Errol Spence and Derrick James is approaching these fights, I think I kind of got a good idea on what they finna do in this Terrence Crawford fight, man. This is just a theory of mine, but check it out. Errol Spence has always been saying that when he's disciplined and he's on his game and he's training and he's focused and, you know, he 100% boxing, he always want to get his weight down before camp. And if you look at him right now, Errol Spence look like he probably about 165, 170 pounds damn near. You know what I mean? Like, he looked big at that weight, at them press conferences. What I think they on is, when you think about it, okay, let's just look at it from a stylistic standpoint. Me knowing that Derrick James understand his boxing, Terrence Crawford's only way to be able to beat Errol Spence is by knockout. That's the only way he can beat him, is by knockout. His style is not built to beat a Errol Spence style on points. It's just not. So, with that being said, man, I think that Errol Spence and Derrick James is keeping Errol Spence at that weight that he's at right now, so his body can acclimate to that weight that he's at. Once his body acclimates to that weight, then he start losing weight, and then weigh in, and then he rehydrate back to the size that he is right now. I think that they gonna try to walk through Terrence Crawford. And then when you think about the mindset, I mean, what Errol Spence has been saying in the press conferences, I'm gonna break you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna punish you. This gonna be a war. This gonna be a war of attrition. Skills ain't gonna matter. I'm gonna break you. And Terrence Crawford gonna be his huckleberry, because if anybody know Terrence Crawford, he gonna accept the challenge. If you say you gonna break him, that's gonna touch his pride. That's gonna touch his ego. And Terrence Crawford got the biggest ego in the world. Once Errol Spence is putting that out there, Terrence Crawford is gonna accept that challenge. I think that they trying to put that in his head so Terrence Crawford can try to fight that fight. And the only way, if you knowing from a stylistic standpoint that their only way of winning, that Terrence Crawford's only way of winning is by knockout, what you do to combat that? Be able to absorb them. Come in there big as hell and absorb them. Be able to take all them shots. So not only is you going to be able to take all his shots, you're going to be big and strong as hell to put that punishment on him. They about to go in here and destroy Terrence Crawford, man. I'm telling you. And when you think about it, all Errol Spence really going to need to win that fight is his discipline on offense and defense, and his discipline with his footwork, his jab, which the jab is a lose-lose for Terrence Crawford when you really think about it, because in the orthodox stance, that's the best way to take the jab away. Well, Errol Spence is used to jabbing orthodox fighters. Then if Terrence Crawford go to the style that he's most comfortable with, which is the southpaw stance, that's easier for Errol Spence to really get his jab off. So that's a lose-lose situation for Terrence Crawford. So as long as Errol Spence got his jab, as long as he got his discipline on offense and defense, and his discipline with his footwork and his chin, that's all he needs, because he's the more fundamentally sound fighter. He might not be as fast as he would be with adding the extra weight, but Terrence Crawford already got the speed advantage. He already got the speed advantage on offense and defense. I mean, yeah, from a footwork standpoint and from a hand speed standpoint. He already got the speed. So Errol Spence is just gonna need his discipline, his chin, his jab, and they finna walk through Terrence Crawford. They finna walk through him. But hey, that's just my opinion on it, man. Let me know what y'all think. Like the video, subscribe, share the videos, man. If you like what you hearing, tap in with me, man. I'm gone.